Back in 2018, I decided I wanted to go international with my business. At the time, I was already doing 50-50. Half of my business was live, in person, workshops, seminars. And the other half was already online products, online courses. So I wanted to migrate everything to the online world and only focus on that. I was really scared at first. I didn't know if I had the confidence, because I was going to enter other countries' markets, and I was always asking myself, do I really have what it takes to do this? It was a big move. I was going to sell communication because I'm a communication coach. I worked in sales. I teach my students communication. But I didn't know if I was a great communicator to really do that. Especially because of the language. That was the issue. I had that insecurity. As you may have noticed, English isn't my first language, and I'll leave that one for you to guess in the comments. It's my second language. But I always taught my students about authenticity. Be yourself, tell your own stories, and be authentic at all times. So how come I wasn't using my own technique? It was only then I came across this new technique that really helped me understand my true uniqueness. So I started to craft a new personal brand. And if you're feeling that you're not selling your coaching services the way you want it, you may need to understand your personal brand. Maybe you need to look into that. You see, your ideal client will connect with your true self. Not with a facade that you thought was your brand, something that you created. Your ideal client wants you, the way you are, not better, not worse, just you. With all the quirkiness and all the weaknesses that we all have. But Jack, why would anyone trust us if we start pointing out all of our weaknesses? And I'm glad you asked that. Actually, you didn't, I did. But we're going to see that the weakness is actually an interesting opposite to what you really want to show. We'll get to that in a minute. But as I always state, and I'll repeat this one as many times as I need, humans connect with humans. So if you've been hurt, if you were scared and you were lost, tell your audience how you felt and then how you overcame that. That will mean that you are human because you felt an emotion, and humans do that, and also because you learned some stuff, and that's a human thing too, right? So this technique is called the personal brand compass. It's a way of looking at your personal brand to pull out all the hidden attractors, client attractors in your brand. And it does it by emphasizing the opposite different parts of you, your own self. The fact that these opposite features are in conflict all the time will make your personal brand much more interesting. If it's too obvious, if your brand is just too ordinary, it's no longer interesting, right? In fact, by doing this, you would actually repel people who are not ideal clients. Those people who don't see you interesting by the way you really are not going to buy from you anyway. So they are better served by someone else. And then you can really focus on those people that see you as being interesting, the real pure clients on profile who will buy your services and then grow your business up to 8, 10, 15,000 a month, which is actually what I teach in this series of videos, how to have your business sell $8,000 to $15,000 a month. And you start by finding your ideal clients. And the way to find ideal clients is being seen with a good personal brand. And we're going to talk about personal brand by learning this technique. It's called personal brand compass. And it's very simple. We're going to start with a compass here. So we have the north right here. And we're going to call that north the bold statement. And we have, what's the opposite? The south, right? Right here. And the south is The interesting opposite. Interesting opposite. You can see that. You can. And we have west here, and to the other side we have east. And let's say, for example, we're going to use a simple character here. Then we're going to learn my example. But to start off, we're going to talk about Superman. So, what's the first thing you think when you hear the word the Superman? Like it's the superhero, right? It's a hero. Everybody knows him, and he defends the innocent people. The world's greatest superhero. So that's the bold statement. It's the first thing people see, and it's normally what you want people to see. But that's not necessarily your main essence, your pure mission. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So the North has the bold statement. So Superman is the superhero, right? The world's greatest superhero. So what's the opposite of the North? What's the opposite of the superhero? There has to be an interesting opposite. And what is it? It's something that only Superman has. And if you think about the person, really the person, not the superhero, not this image, because this is a brand trying to show off. It's not that. It's this one here, which is the person. And what is the person? The person is Clark Kent, right? And Clark Kent is not a superhero at all. He's a human being. Well, we see him as a human being. He's shy. He wants to keep it to himself. And he was always he was shy. He didn't have the confidence to ask Lois Lane out, right? So he doesn't want to be seen. He doesn't want to be the hero. So he's always trying to be ordinary, trying to be normal, and that's his interesting opposite: being shy, being someone keeping it to himself. So we're gonna call this one he's shy. So he's shy. The interesting opposite is Superman being shy. And it's the opposite, right? These are the external things that people see. Now we're going to come here to the west side of our compass. And here we're going to talk about vulnerability. And we're going to use the word, the letter W, because it's also the weakness. So this is something that we see as being his vulnerability. So we're talking about Superman. What is his vulnerability? What is his weakness? I was thinking about this one, and his weakness could be that he tries to be human all the time. So he wants to protect human. He wants to protect innocent. So the villain, the bad guys, they could, when they threaten the innocent people, he will go out of his way to protect them. But also there's an obvious one here, which is the kryptonite. So when exposed to kryptonite, he loses his power. So that's his weakness. He loses his power. He's not a superhero anymore. So we're gonna talk. He's trying to be human. So tries to be human. That's a weakness. Or you can use kryptonite. And to the east, we have the true essence. So I want to use the same letter here to talk about the sign here being the essence. So this is your mission. It's the ultimate brand that you want to show, that people will see and be interested by. That's your true essence. It's your mission. And what is the mission that Superman is showing through his new brand using the opposite? So the true essence in the end is that he's a superhero very much human. And that's how he connects with people, being human. So you see that these two here are the ones that are the external elements. The statement, the one that people, the first thing people think about, the interesting opposite, which is being shy, the interesting opposite. What's his weakness? He's always trying to be human, and he can become human if exposed to kryptonite. And on the other side, here we have the true essence, his mission, which is being a superhero, very much human. So people connect to that because now it's not someone indestructible. It's a person. Well, not a person because he has superpowers, but it's almost as if he was a person. So that's how he connects. This is a character, but it's a brand. It was created to be interesting, and people actually became interested and they bought the idea, and that's why it's a successful franchise. This is the exercise that we're gonna do. It's the personal brand compass. Now we're gonna see a different example, and I'm gonna use my own example. So let's do it again. And as I go with my explanation here, you can start thinking about your own personal brand. What do you want to show? What's your weakness? We're going to do the exercise, and then you start thinking about the elements here. So we're going to do the composite. What's the one here? North, and then we have, what's the opposite? South here. We have west, and we have east, right? My personal brand. What I want people to see, how I want to be perceived. I want my brand to be about a coach who's successful, speaker, a trainer, professional speaker, professional coach, business coach. That's how I want to be seen, because when you are taken seriously, people trust you. So I always want people to see me as a professional coach. So it's coach. This is the bold statement, by the way. So coach, professional speaker. I want people to look up to me so they can trust what I have to teach, and then they will understand the teachings and they can buy my services. That's what a business is about. So I want people to see me as a professional speaker. I want them to become professional speakers themselves. So that's what I want people to see. And what is an interesting opposite here, which is down here in the south? The opposite of being a professional speaker is, in fact, the fact that I'm always telling jokes and trying to be funny, and I'm informal now. I used to be formal, wear the suit, and then show up being someone serious because I was working with executives, directors, and people of high positions, and I was trying to be formal, because in the coaching business, when you're dealing with business owners, I wouldn't say you need, but you are inclined to be more formal, and I can't help myself by being not formal at all. I tried that, but it didn't work. It's not me. So I'm always trying to tell a joke and to be funny, to the point where I go just too far and with sarcasm. And sometimes it's very awkward. Some people don't like it. They don't find it funny. And I try to get out of that situation telling another one, and it never ends, and I feel bad, but that's the way I am. And I found that to be an interesting opposite because it is the opposite of a professional speaker. So, jokey and funny. Wannabe, let's call it that. Wannabe, not because I'm not always funny. I try to be funny. I'm not always funny. But that's the interesting opposite of a professional speaker. What's a weakness? See, we see the W here. Weakness, which is also vulnerability. Again, my insecurity towards the language. Like I said, when I was creating this personal brand, like going internationally, and I knew that I had to be speaking all the time, and I didn't know if I had it in me. So it's a vulnerability. It's not a bad thing. A different culture, that's a good thing. But the insecurity is a bad thing. So I would call it like a non-English native speaker. That's my weakness right there. Weakness, non-English native speaker. So that's my weakness. That's my vulnerability. And now I have to move to the true essence. Since I'm always teaching my students, my clients, how to be more authentic, how to use authenticity to connect with their audience, with their prospective clients. This is actually a good thing to show yourself being vulnerable, to be yourself, to show who you really are at all times, like I'm doing now, talking about my weaknesses. And then this becomes my true essence, which is my mission. And my mission is we always connect with with people interested in our services, our audience. So we always connect through authenticity. That's my mission. And it's actually what I sell in my courses. It's actually what I sell during my seminars. It's what I teach. Tell your stories. This is what I'm good at. This is what I like to do. This is what I understand, how to tell personal stories. And telling personal stories, you show who you are, and then you connect. And that's being yourself. These are the external elements, things that people see. They can see the opposite, interesting opposite, and the professional speaker, the bold statement. The West here, non-English native speaker, that's my insecurity. And what's the opposite? That's something, it's inside. It's got to do with emotions, motivations. So it's not what people see. And so it's my weakness. Not everyone knows about this. I'm sharing it now, so you do know, but it's not a common thing. I don't talk about that all the time. That's not what I want people to be seeing me as, a insecure person. So you go to the other side, that's the true essence. The mission, and my mission is connect always through authenticity, be yourself. And that's actually the opposite of this one. And they help each other. And that's how your personal brand becomes interesting. And people will want to buy from you, because if your brand is just ordinary, dull, indestructible, that's not interesting anymore. You want to be something that is polemic, that shows some sense of, it has to be daring, provocative, and that's an interesting brand. That's why people buy from brands that have these opposite working with each other. Now, you have to do your own personal brand compass. That's your homework. So you can start with the North bold statement. How do you want to be perceived? What people think about yourself? What people think about you when they hear your name? That's a common thing. It's something that people see in you. That's the North. What's the South? The South is the interesting opposite. What is opposite to that thing that people see in you. And it has to be something that is visible, not like a fear, not like an emotion. Something that is visible, like myself. I'm trying to be funny, so that's visible. People see that all the time. And then you go to the West, which is the weakness. What's your vulnerability? What's your weakness? Something that people don't know about. And then you write that down. What's the opposite of that? That will be your true essence. The statement that you stand for, something that you truly believe in. That's your E's here. E for essence. And you do that one, and you see that your brand will become more interesting. I hear some coaches saying that I'm that no bullshit kind of person. And so when they say that, it means that they want to be seen as that, as a person that is a no bullshit kind of person. And that's probably something going here. But if it's something that they don't share all the time, that might be something opposite to what they've been showing. So it's a really good exercise to understand who you can be, being your true self.